Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And wow, we start with the World or Universe card. Very interesting. Very interesting. I like that card. It's good for a beginning. It's good also for a sense of completion, right? Let's put that into some context. And we see some water. We see some earth, a fool. We see a little air. Here comes the cat to confirm all of this. I think, oh, wow, an ace of cups. I think there is a lot of significant messages for you right now, right? A lot of, this is, with the World or Universe card, to me, it kind of gives us an idea of how we can get out of the restrictions that are on us now, right? How we can stop limiting ourselves. We have this Fool energy, right? We've got this need for freedom. We've got this impulse to begin new things. See, we've got Fool and World. We've got Alpha and Omega, right? We've got beginning and the kind of result, the completion. Not the end. I don't want to say the end. But let's select our mystery card. Here comes our resident feline friend. And this is one card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. Can you believe this, cat? We're just going to put right over here, we're going to put Mr. Ed right there on top. And hopefully this cat will not scratch me up too bad. Let's see if she feels like going down to my lap here. Here we go. There you go. There you go, TT. Okay, now, where were we? Yes, let's take a look at what we have here. With the mystery card, I'm going to ask that if at any point during the reading you get a sense of what that card is or could be, put it into the comment section. At the end, we're going to do this little interactive thing where we'll pause for a minute. We'll all see if we can collectively raise our vibrations and tap into our intuition to see what that mystery card is. Okay? Any point during the reading, but we're going to do it at the end too. But first, we're going to take a look at these energies because we have major and major. This is really what it's about, the beginning and the end, the start of something and the result of something, right? This is really freedom from restrictions, okay? And then we've got a little bit of fire, of course. We do have some water energy. We do have some air energy here, right? And then we've got our earth energies here. So it's fairly balanced all in all. It might be a little bit heavy on the air energy, but most things are, especially when we're kind of trying to figure out our life path and we're trying to really manifest this. This is really pure spirit right here with the Fool and the Universe. That's really amazing. Let's talk about the Universe or World card. This card is ruled by the planet Saturn, which to me suggests this idea of not wanting restrictions, right? Saturn is kind of that planet that wants to hold things back, wants to keep things as they are, wants to really restrict things, right? It's kind of a belt that keeps tightening on this ever-expanding universe, right? So I feel as if we're in a situation now where we're starting to loosen the belt. Right? We're starting to shake off our fetters. We're starting to loosen our girdle, as it were, in order to have a more pure and free experience of our world, of our universe, of ourselves, right? And what we're capable of. So I feel like your future is one of expansion, right? I feel like we're going the opposite way of Saturn here. We're trying to expand. We're trying to get past any roadblocks, be they physical, mental, emotional, spiritual roadblocks, right? Anything that's limiting you. If you come up against a wall in your practice, in your work, in your creativity, in your thinking or feeling, if you meet with a wall, do you turn around and go a different direction? Or are we trying to go through that wall? Are we trying to go above or under or around it, right? To quote one of my favorite bands there. I feel like we're approaching challenges in a new way here because we have this Princess of Cups here. This is as if we're starting to kind of hear or feel or see or sense this Ace of Cups in our future, right? Because that's at the end of the path of this is kind of the outcome here. Finding this Holy Grail, finding this well of just love and joy and beauty and pleasure and satisfaction, spiritual connection. This goes really deep. I feel like we're starting to get a sense of that, getting a sense of what we're meant for, right? Getting a sense for what kind of freedom and love and joy and beauty and connection is waiting for us in the future, right? We need to do the work right now. And I think with the Princess of Cups or the Page of Cups, we're learning what this kind of new feeling is, what this new psychic sense, what this new spiritual connection, right? What it means. We're understanding how to translate it into, well, what we see here, 3, 3, and 4, right? So we're still very, very close to source here. In fact, we don't have any cards. The lowest card, we could call that the lowest card, is the 8 that we have here. And this is the card that we don't want, the position that we don't want, okay? So we'll get there. But for now, we're feeling this new inspiration. We're feeling a new, almost confidence, but it's almost more of a joy and more of an excitement, more of an enthusiasm in meeting our challenges, in meeting our obstacles, okay? So let's see, what do we see? Let's talk about the 3s, I guess, first, okay? Because the 3 of Swords, I think, this is one thing that we're going to be overcoming, okay? This, I think, is something that we're working on. This is something that we're aware of, okay? And this is more Saturn, right? This is Saturn in Libra. This is the restriction on our interpersonal relationships. This is the restriction on how much of our heart, how much joy and pleasure and connection we feel in our relationships, generally, with other people, family, friends, pets, plants, whatever. We're starting to feel a new desire in that area, okay, in terms of our relationships. We want more. We want deeper connections. We want the Holy Grail, right? We want that Ace of Cups. But Saturn is here restricting those relationships. And I feel, because this is a 3 of Swords, that this is based on the memory of past issues, traumas, okay? I always kind of hesitate when I say the word trauma. It's almost like it's a taboo word. But it's not. It shouldn't be, right? We all have traumas. We all are dealing with things from our history, right? And the 3 of Swords is us acknowledging that some things from our past are still affecting our present, right? Because of relationships that we've had in the past, experiences that we've been through, and the memories of those experiences, that affects how we're interacting with people now, okay? And I think that's one of the first things that we're working on, is realizing, first of all, that we feel this spiritual calling, that we want deeper connections with the world. But Saturn is here mainly in our minds, in our memories, and that is holding us back from achieving this kind of freedom. So this is the first thing I think that we are breaking free from. I almost wonder why we don't have a Tower card here somewhere, maybe the Mystery card. Again, if you start getting an idea of what that is, leave it in the comments section. At the very end, we'll collectively kind of do that. We'll take a moment to pause and think about that card, feel that card. And see, I'm hoping that over time, we can all raise our vibrations and tap into more of our intuition. And, we'll find that more and more often, we're getting that card right. Okay? It's kind of a little exercise for us to do during these readings. It keeps it interactive, I think. But anyway, so the Saturn here with the air, this is the memory of past issues and traumas that are affecting us now, affecting the way we relate to other people. Okay? And that is counterpoised with this 3 of discs. Now, this is something underneath the surface. This is now, it's almost like these cards should be reversed, right? We usually think that 3 of swords should be something a little bit more unconscious, right? But no, in this case, it's above everything. The 3 of swords is out here in the open. We're aware of it. We can see it. We know that it's happening, right? We can see that. Now with the 3 of discs or pentacles, this is something underneath the surface now. This is the idea or the understanding that I think we also need to come to an awareness of. That the relationships that we have with other people affect our sense of progress in the world, our sense of succeeding. This is kind of the card that says, look, no man is an island, no woman is an island, no person is an island, no pet or plant or anything, no life form, right? We're all interconnected. And this is the understanding that we need other people, we need networks, we need support, we need the whole supply chain, right? In order for us to function as we will, as we desire to, as we feel called to function. No one is isolated in a vacuum, okay? So the 3 here is very much related to the 3 of swords, and it's our interactions with other people, it's our relationships that are colored by our past traumas, that are affecting our progress and our success in life, because we need to be able to connect with people, right? On a level that is good for everyone, a level that feels right, And I think we're coming to that awareness here. Again, this is not so much the Princess of Cups, not so much an intellectual awareness, but an intuitive feeling. It's a gut feeling, kind of. It's something's just kind of tugging at your heartstrings. You feel spirit calling, right? And I think, again, I love the Fool and the Universe cards together. We really don't want any restrictions, right? The Fool, and maybe the Fool in the recent past kind of thing, shows that at one point we felt that we had more freedom. We felt that we weren't being held back by ourselves, by life, by our feelings, our thoughts, that we had more freedom. And I think as we all get older, now I don't know how old any of you are, but I'm sort of in the middle of life, I guess. The older we get, the more it feels like our responsibilities increase, our capacity kind of starts to diminish, right? There's a point where I just can't run as fast as I used to, right? We age a little bit, So there's this idea that that youth is for the young, that freedom is for back in those carefree days, But freedom from restriction doesn't necessarily mean just being carefree and frivolous and being like the Fool. The Fool is also the sage, right? It brings to mind, if I could, if I only knew then what I know now, then maybe the Fool would have been the sage, all along. But I think that this is, it's kind of that cosmic joke, right? The older we get, the wiser we get, but then we're too, perhaps, we're too old to really do anything with that wisdom. So what do? We pass it on to the next generation and cross our fingers that they're listening. I don't think we're quite there yet, because I feel like it's a lot of A lot of this kind of restrictive thinking that makes us feel as if the time has passed, right? Because the universe, the world card, this card's all about time as well, right? This is feeling now time could either be a restriction. It could be something that's holding us back when we feel like, oh man, I missed my chance to be wild and carefree. Now time has caught up with me. Now I feel hemmed in by the world, and it's just, and then we get to this box. Now we're just living in a box. I think we need to look at this a different way. I think that's a lot of our trauma coloring this path here. This is the Fool who, with the experience, with time, has grown to become the wise person. And now, I think, because of that wisdom, because of the experience, because of this, maybe it's traveling, maybe you did a lot of traveling when you were younger. Now, if we can shake off these fetters that we put on ourselves, that society puts on us, that our traumas put on us, that our overthinking maybe puts on us. We see some overthinking here, too, with this other air energy. We could start to feel this passion. It's not even passion, really. It's this spiritual calling. It's this sense of holiness, this sense of wonder. Get back some of that Fool energy, but not in a foolish way, in the wise way, right? The other side of the Fool. And I think really with the Four of Pentacles in the future, this is talking about the release of the strictures that are on us, and things will be able to function more freely. Right now, what I mean by that is we're not looking for an absence of structure. We're not looking to just go, again, completely Fool energy, and there is like zero routine, that there's no order, there's no order. We're not looking for chaos here, right? We're looking for stability. We're looking for success. We're looking to build what we will, right? We don't want to be restricted by anything. We want to be free to build what we're trying. We're building our own temple, so to speak. Okay. Now, it would be one thing if we had maybe this Eight of Wands here, and yes, we're getting rid of these restrictions, these bonds, these things that are holding us back, and we're just kind of, it's chaos. We don't want the Eight of Wands. That's why this position's over here. We don't want the chaos. We don't want all of this newfound freedom and energy, but nowhere to go. So we're building our own structures. We're building our own temple, right? We're getting this glimpse of freedom, and we're free to build our own structure now. I hope that makes sense. I don't think I'm explaining it quite right. Well, let's see if we can move through these other cards and maybe get a sense of what that Four of Pentacles is. Because it looks, by all means, it looks like we're boxed in, right? And that's one way to look at it. But we're building our own structures, right? Rather than feeling as if we are just being tossed into this box that something else built, that our insecurities built or whatever. That we're now free to construct what we will, right? But to do that, we've got to get over this air energy, and we see more air energy here. This is the Five of Swords. It came out upside down. This card usually is like that. It came out this time, see, it's upside down. This came out with the point on top, with the spiritual position at the top. We are trying to look at things from this different perspective, right? This way. We're trying to look at things from above. We're trying to connect with our true self, what we really want, above all of these restrictive elements, right? This is the heavy weight that is on us. Usually the cards like that. What we really want, what we really believe, is kind of pushed down and repressed under the weight of all of these things. Our physical, structure, our thinking, our emotions, right? Circumstances of life. That what we really feel, what we really want, our spiritual calling is underneath. But no, now that is free. We're letting it loose, right? We're expressing it. And I think that this is that perfect balance, right? I think that we are learning that freedom does not mean chaos. It doesn't mean the absence of discipline or the absence of structure. It means a structure that is conducive to that fifth element, the spirit that is living right in the middle of that card. So we still have to keep a structure and an order to our life, and that's something that the Fool has learned in the Fool's journeys and experiences and life, generally speaking, from birth till where we are today. Now, the cat is also here to confirm, but when I get a 5 of swords, I like to do one additional thing. Anytime we get a 5 of swords, we pull out one of our language of flowers, our affirmation cards. Okay, so we've got that 5, and really we have these other swords cards, so it's a good time to use the language of flowers here. And we're just going to select one of these affirmation cards. The foxglove. Confidence. Be what you want to see. Confidence. Be what you want to see. I like that. I like that we are being advised to have this kind of confidence in ourselves. Because it's almost, the reading's almost saying that, look, we're going to have rules to live by, right? But let's try to organize our life in such a way that these rules empower us, that these rules are kind of rules that we set for ourselves, that we're not being restricted by, these kinds of elements, issues, traumas, and that we're living a life with a structure, with an order that is going to bring out the very best in us, right? We then come to this Princess of Swords. And this is in the environment, this is the relationships, this is the timing of things. This, I think, goes right with that 3 of Swords, and this says that we've been closed off to relationships. I'm sure we still have relationships and networks and stuff, but we're not maximizing those. There's something in us, 3 of Swords, that is preventing us from getting the most out of our relationships. Because maybe we feel kind of defensive. Maybe we feel very cautious. These are good things. Feel skeptical about others' intentions. Those are good things. But we have to utilize that in such a way that we are not holding ourselves back or preventing our growth and our success, but to use our mental energy, our relationships, our skepticism, our caution, in a way that is going to allow us to build the success that we want in life, right? So this could either be a very limiting box, or it could be our very own castle and temple. It just depends on how we view things, how we approach it. And it really, I guess, really depends on our confidence. Because if we have no confidence, then we have to be very, very protective of ourselves. And we have to basically assume that every person we meet has a sinister agenda, and we protect ourselves at any cost. Okay? But with a little bit of confidence, with, I think, what we're feeling with this water energy, what we're acknowledging through this 3 of Swords, that we're understanding a little bit of the proper placement of the Princess of Swords. Skepticism, caution, a little bit of defensiveness, that's good. Those are positive qualities. My cat's scratching at the door now, so she's all over the studio today. I think that's a very important omen when she comes in and does her various activities. So anyway, this I think is important, but it needs to be in the proper perspective. We have to be aware that we do that because this, again, it's in the position of our relationships. Sometimes we could be too closed off in our relationships, and I think that is keeping us in a box rather than helping us build our castle, our temple. Next, of course, we've got that 8 of Wands. This is a lot of kind of hectic, frantic. This is kind of a chaotic energy that really doesn't have a place to go. Okay? And I think that this is what could have been a future here. When we are starting to realize our freedom, this is kind of the acknowledgement that underneath all of the psychic stuff, the emotional stuff, we are a spirit in space-time, right? And that might be a little overwhelming. That realization that you are a spirit in space-time, that might give you a little bit of anxiety, right? It might be a lot of frantic energy, doesn't really know where to go. If space is infinite, if you're a spirit, you suddenly find yourself manifesting in space-time, what do we do? Where are we supposed to go? What is our purpose? What is our, it's a little bit of that agoraphobia, I think, right? The vastness of space, we can go anywhere and do anything, but we're just kind of tap dancing in place, right? This is the card we don't want. So we need a little bit of structure. We need a little bit of order. We need the wisdom to know where our boundaries and limits should be, both in our interactions with other people and in our own expectations, our own movements. This is saying, hey, just put a fence around your yard, and then it won't feel like you're so vulnerable, right? It's the illusion of security, but it's kind of necessary if we're starting to have this pure spiritual realization, Fool and universe. We need a little bit of manifestation, right? We need a little bit of something familiar. So let's build a box for ourselves, but let's do it according to our will, our desire, our wisdom, right? So it becomes a temple, becomes our castle. Now, the final card, of course, is the Ace of Cups. And this, I think, is it's kind of the wellspring of spiritual ecstasy. It's union with your true self, union with God, Goddess, deity. This is what we are after, and this, I think, is what the princess is starting to feel. And this is now your guiding light. This is now your beacon in the distance that you're trying to get toward. And this is why we're doing this work. You want this kind of spiritual fulfillment. You don't want to be limited by any of these other energies. It's almost as if this 4 of Pentacles, this is the ship that we're building in order to sail to whatever this beacon is. Right? This is the manifestation that we need. In order to experience spiritual union and ecstasy and bliss, we need a physical structure to take us there. Right? It's kind of maybe the purpose of incarnation. Right? That's why we've built this body around us, because we need a vessel to take us here. So I think the 4 here, as well as, and real quick before we get to that mystery card, I know this is going to become a long video. Before we'd manifested, we are this spiritual entity. We're this spirit in space-time, right? And we have the idea of balance here with the 4, right? The 4 elements kind of in harmony. And these are the 4 kind of subtle elements, right? This is our spirit manifesting, but this is more of a physical structure. This is like kind of literally manifesting in a body, right? So this is kind of an interesting process here. Pure spirit, union, this is before any kind of manifestation. That's the 0 card, right? This is the 0, and this is the 1. It's still a unity, but it's not manifested. It's starting to manifest. And here we are now with the 4 of Pentacles. We have the same basic structure with the 4, but now we find ourselves clothed in a body of flesh that can take us to our bliss, right? And maybe we're getting a little metaphysical, a little mystical here, but I kind of like that, the Fool and the universe, and then here we are incarnating, right? Let's get to the mystery card now. This is the point in the reading where if you haven't yet, I would like you to pause the video. You don't have to play along if you don't want to. And let's see if we can collectively figure out what this card is. Leave your answers in the comment box. And I'll give you a moment if you want to think about it and pause. We'll switch the camera here so you can see the other energies that we had today. And see if we can get an idea of what this is. Now, I think I know. I think I've got an idea of what this is, but I'll pause for a moment. And what I'm thinking is, if this is true, that we've had this realization, and we have this kind of new goal that we're after, this Ace of Cups, we're starting to kind of feel the calling toward it, right? I think that this needs to be a symbol of that union. So this is either the Lover's card, showing that this Princess of Cups has achieved union with the divine, or this is going to be the Two of Cups, right? Showing then again that it's kind of an equal experience here, right? So I'm thinking Lovers, or I'm thinking Two of Cups. Okay, let's see. Oh, I was so sure too. It's a Seven of Swords. This is the idea now that we have, we've made some progress. Something turns us back, right? This is, this may be the idea here too that, and it's something we haven't talked about, that we can't get rid of these traumas, that we can't overcome and conquer and be rid of any of this air energy, right? That maybe through positive affirmations, we can get a handle on it by being aware of it, by processing it, integrating it, talking about it, etc. But we never actually let it go. And I think once you feel as if you've conquered it and you've let it go, it's going to creep back up on you. Okay. So I think that is what is preventing our forward movement right now, is a lot of this air energy. And also the idea that once we get over it, we're over it, right? Once you forget about it, that's when it comes back up. That's when it maybe goes down here under the surface and starts messing with things from down here. While it's up here and it's front and center in our mind, let's deal with it here so that it doesn't just sink down beneath everything. So yeah, the Seven of Swords, I think, this is another kind of catch-22. If we cannot ever completely overcome these issues, then are we preventing our progress by stopping here to deal with these issues, right? It's like, I'm not going to move forward until I deal with these. But that's precisely the problem, that we're not moving forward because of these issues. So this is almost a card that says, look, we can continue to make progress and deal with our stuff, deal with these air energies along the way. It's not like we have to fix this first and then we can make progress. No, let's keep moving toward our bliss, toward our Ace of Cups, and deal with these on an ongoing basis. Does that make sense? Anyway, Scorpio, we're going to do an extended. If you want to stick around, click either above or below in the description box. New readings come out for Scorpio every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 a.m. Chicago time. So please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one, okay? I want to thank you for watching this video all the way through until the end. It really helps out the algorithm, which in turn is good for the channel. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.